Bernie Sanders said he's looking forward to working with the Trump administration and hopes that President-elect Donald Trump sticks to his promise surrounding the cap on interest rates. This is, of course, a misrepresentation of what Bernie Sanders said. What he actually said is just the content of this tweet. I look forward to working with the Trump administration on fulfilling his promise to cap credit card interest rates at 10%, which isn't going to happen. So, you know, it's good of Bernie to stick to the premise that he'll embrace good ideas no matter where they come from, and kind of like hold Trump to it, but it's not going to happen. Would be based if it did. If I think so too, but if they did this, it would just mean they would no longer offer credit cards to high-risk individuals. Dude is the toughest job in the world. I listened to him get an interview because he's been getting a lot of media attention since he attacked the Democratic Party. Which is good because he deserves the attention and also because he was correct to attack the Democratic Party. He got interviewed by this New York Times journalist guy who he obviously didn't like, so he was like snapping at him. It was pretty funny. Wouldn't that be a really, really bad idea economically, though? Like, wouldn't that just make wouldn't that make credit card companies stop giving them out? I personally am in favor of banning credit cards. The credit system, like credit score, credit cards in general, all they do is develop a debtor's economy. It's like, they exist entirely to facilitate an economic situation where people's budgets can be strung out to the last possible thread, so people live their entire lives indebted. Even if they get their spending under control, they remain indebted. It's a much more complete kind of control over someone. If they just don't have money, so they can't buy anything and they're low on money, it is what it is. But if they go heavily into debt, they can be fighting their way out of it unsuccessfully for the rest of their life, always paying interest, money for nothing. Doesn't even have to be. You get people paying money on their interest, like they're not even paying the principal anymore. You didn't even have to sell or give them anything for them to be giving you money. Just paying off the interest. Total credit card debt is now up to 1.17 trillion. That's great. The average American household, just the average, is around $9,000 in credit card debt. God damn. It's not even that much. It's, you could imagine hunkering down and paying that off, but in practice, that doesn't even happen, does it? It's theoretically not a lot. It's not a lot in the sense of like, if I just don't spend any money for several months, then I have it all paid off. But then your car breaks down, or you have to go to the ER or something. It's like you can't take like a Reddit approach to this sort of thing. Fun paper on how credit cards cause hunger. How credit card payments increase unhealthy food purchases. Weaken impulse control. Yeah, I see that. I just think it just facilitates a bad attitude. I do wish that credit cards could be banned. 100%, yeah. I think that, like, loans should have to be for, like, a specific thing that you ask for. You aren't wrong, but the credit card system basically offers people unlimited fraud protection. I think that'd be hard to come by. No. You could easily manage you could absolutely develop out like effectively a debit card apparatus with finite spending out into what credit cards have protections for. There are ways to do that for sure. Like, you would have to rework the way the card works, but the underlying, it might introduce a delay in the verification. Like, rather than it being a direct transfer of money, you'd have to like wait for the ping to go back and forth with the verification of the such and such. But you could do that, yeah. I mean, you could also just effectively have credit cards, but with no interest, and have the cap be determined by an amount of money equal to the amount in your debt. Look, I'm not going to pretend that I can like one-off address that, but there are ways to address that. Vosh, would you run for president? I am going to start banning for questions like that. You are annoying. It's not even funny. There's nothing funny to say. There's no prompt. Work harder. Get a job. And then give me the money. Really, Maggie Immortal. Mego Immortal. Yes, Fade Talks. It's the only way. Well, anyway. Well done, Okabe Farms. Which of these statements would I ban you for making? Vosh, do you wear wigs? Not funny. Nothing to work with here. That would be a ban. Are you going to do Smasher past Digimon? That would be a ban. There were a few more up there, but they're scrolling past. Why are you being annoying? I'm sure you can try harder at being funny than that, but the problem that you're working with here is that you are trying to supply the punchline when the most you can be allowed to do in your position is to supply the setup. I do the punchline. It's a lot of people, you want to be funny men, but you have to understand where you are in the dynamic. You have to understand where you are in the range. You can't provide the punchline. And the problem that you run into is that by supplying like the punchline of a joke in the inciting comment, you're actually destroying my ability to say anything funny about it. I just see the message and get irritated because you're trying to be funny and sap my attention like a damn energy vampire from what we do in the shadows. And I won't let you get me down, but I do want you guys to try a little bit harder. I do think behavior like this is largely a product of the fact that I keep my chat up on my screen so everyone has their day in the sunshine. Maybe it'd be better to have it off. I've been thinking about this for a while. Do you think having chat on screen makes you appear less professional? Well, I don't really care about professionalism. I will admit, though, that when I'm having a serious conversation and people in chat are just like being really stupid with stupid little jokes, or like a woman comes on screen and people in chat are like awoogaing or whatever, like I will admit that does actually quite annoy me. Not really a matter of professionalism, I guess. It's just basic tone matching. Would it be all right if I ask whether you will ever do another stream/video on heightism? I'm doing a paper on it for an English GE. What? I can't talk extensively about heightism. I'm 6'2". They'll tell me I'm Chadsplaining. It is a real thing. It's just that the discourse around it has been made sort of like irreversibly silly. I think that's an invalid question, based reptile. The video from the other day on people being mean to men online is actually doing pretty well, which I was wondering about because it's the first like culture video that I've put out after the election. I'm happy the conversation's being received relatively well. The issue that I have, I guess, is that if you ever talk about stuff like that, there will be people who respond positively to the effect of like, you're right, we are too mean to men. Feminism used to be about equality, but now it's just about straight up hate. And then then it makes me want to do another video where I'm like, okay, I disavow this.